So I got a few pieces of gear on the table. I have a regular Canon EF lens right here. I have the M6 with its 15 to 45 mirrorless lens on it. And then I also have an adapter that Commlite sent over. They wanted me to test it out, give my thoughts to see how it worked, any suggestions or anything. So they did send it out, but I was not paid for this in any way. But this is the Commlite EF to M adapter. So that way I can use my Canon lenses on my M system. So one of the biggest downsides for this Canon M line, be it Canon doesn't have an actual real mirrorless camera yet besides these, is the lens selection for these is very, very limited and very poor for that matter. There's not a lot of fast glass or anything out there. There's not a lot of versatility. I do actually like the kit lens on this a lot, but you can only get so much with the kit lens. You can only push it so far. But that's why I have like a 24 to 70 2.8 that's filming me right now on the 1D, and I have one of my favorite lenses, my 16 to 35 f4. But what if I can use those on this and still retain all kinds of the aperture capability, all the electronic information, using the dual pixel autofocus, getting the EXIF data, etc., the in-body stabilization, just by using this right here onto this, and I get to use very, very good lenses. It comes in a small box like this, and the presentation is actually very nice. You open it up, it has a little quality pass sticker on it, but I, just tear through that type of stuff. It's got some paperwork that you really don't need to read or anything like that, and it comes just like kind of any adapter does. But when I first took it out of its little bag and picked it up, I was like, wow, this is like a very good build quality right here. Now, it's very metallic, and what you'll notice is when you open it up through both sides, or pretty much any side, there is no piece of glass in here. It's passed through, so you're getting, whatever's coming in is hitting the sensor. It's not going through a piece of glass or a mirror or anything like that in between. And you will notice the electronic connectors on the front and the back of this as well, so that way you retain all of that information. Now, like I was saying, and you'll see in some B-roll, I can now take off my M lens right here, the kit lens, and then I can attach the adapter right here, the Commlite adapter. You can align it white to white, and then it'll click into place. And that way, now the sensor is exposed, so if you're worried about that, I already kind of have a lens attached, and there you go right here, and this helps the flange distance in between. So now that this is on, you essentially connect it from the red dot to the red dot like you would your regular camera, connect it, and now I have attached my Canon lens to the mirrorless system, which it doesn't do natively. Now all you really have to do and see is, does it really work? Does it test? Now there is a compatibility chart from some of the stuff right here, but it's not really fully updated. And with the Canon stuff, it really doesn't matter per se. I'm gonna test this with the 16 to 35 and the 24 to 70 2.8 version 2 lens, just to see how it does with the autofocusing. Does it retain well? Does a dual pixel work well? Does it add any kind of autofocusing noise that could ruin a shot that you really want? Once again, I'm very excited to try this out. I haven't tried it yet, really, because now I can use quality lenses. So let's give it a little check out and see if it's worth, I think it's like $43. I'll have a link below if I like this. But let's check out this $43 adapter instead of like the $150 or $200 Canon one. So I am now on the 16 to 35 f4 on the adapter on this M6. Right now it's at 16 millimeters, I believe. Yep, it's fully out. I'm at an f4 right now, 1/160th of a second. So you'll see if I, mess with the shutter speed at a 60th, it'll change with it. So that absolutely works. If I want to change the aperture, that's an 8 now, go back to f4. So all that really works. The thing I want to listen for and the thing I want to know is, does the autofocus increase, does the sound increase? How does it track? Because right now, the autofocusing is actually tracking me. I'm looking up at the monitor, but what if I come do something really close? It's not as smooth as the first, but it does pick up pretty well. Now, I do notice that, and the mic is right here on the side, so you actually might hear this, which if you want to do video, and if that's the case, you might pick it up. I have the little mic on the side, so you might hear it kind of obtain focus a little bit more, and it's just a little bit louder. But this is with the 16 to 35. The other thing I want to note is that there's the shoe at the bottom, the little foot. And that mount is actually, even though you can crank it as tight as you can, it's still pretty loose, so that's not the best build quality, but it takes the pressure off of the mount and it puts the lens up top if you want to use it towards a, on a tripod type of thing. So I do recommend using it, but it is fully, not secured. It is bouncing around a little bit. But be it that, you know, this still works pretty well. Now I'll go to 35. You know, picked up fine. Let's go to the background. Come to me. It's smooth. It's not like jumping around, but it's not super as fast as normal, but it's actually doing pretty well. I'm going to switch out to the 24-70. So now the 24-70 is on this thing right here. And because this lens is a little bit heavier, you will definitely notice that this is, you know, on that foot, it drops. It's not 100% steady. Like, it's rested down on it. So once again, expect that if you want to get something like this. To me, it's not a huge deal, but if you use larger lenses, it might become an issue. But here's the 24-70 2.8. You know, catches up. It's making a little bit more noise than usual, but not as much. And once again, you're paying a fraction of the price of what the actual Canon one is. And I know that one's good quality as well, but for like a $43, $45 option, this isn't that bad. So this is an f4. Let's go to 2.8. See a little bit more bokeh in the background. And there you go. So it's working. It's tracking. The autofocus for stills take pictures as well. It retains the EXIF data, your metadata, and you can really go from there. So the build quality on this is fantastic. It really didn't impact it a ton. Maybe you hear the focusing just a little bit more, but besides that, it works well. Both of these lenses aren't even their compatibility chart, so they work 24-70 2.8 version 2 and the 16-35 f4. I'm bending so far down because my other tripod only goes up. If not, you'd be like this level. You don't want to see that. I don't want to scare you. I forgot I actually can't really match the settings completely because this is a variable aperture lens, and around the same mark, I'm at a 5.6. So I'm just going to go a little bit brighter on this, a little bit wider, drop the aperture a little bit, and so that way you can see me. Now, I may have cut out a little bit what you've seen from both lenses because it might be annoying to listen to. So if you have a mic on camera that you're trying to use, I used both a Rode mic on top and then my little EXIF one on the side. On the M6, you know, the whole mic issue, you can easily hear the autofocusing noise that is generating from something like that. So the adapter definitely does add the noise. It works very, very well. It doesn't jitter or stutter, but if you're using onboard audio, I would recommend not. I would recommend something external, be it your iPhone, an external recorder, or something like that, and you could go from there. So you noticed it, I noticed it, and it's good to point out, so I might cut those short if I did. I've used the Canon one before. I haven't had a chance to own it or really review it or share it on here, but it also does add noise, not as much. I think that one handles it very, very well for the most part. But for what this offers you, definitely photography, it doesn't really matter. It works well, smooth, focusing and everything like that. For video, pretty smooth and everything, but a little bit louder on the AF side of things. And once again, that's because the mic is like right here, on here, and then right up top if I had my other Rode on it. So that being said, be warned for that. But other than that, it works exactly as it should. And the dual pixel works very well. 43 bucks. Not a bad spend. Check out some of the links down below if you want to actually look at one for more info or to pick one up. So let me know your thoughts. Have you used something like this before? Or, you know, not? Let me know down below. And is that a deal breaker with how the audio is for onboard? You know, a lot of us like to use an onboard audio for something like that. So, I don't know. But still photography-wise, which a lot of us still do, it works 100% with no issue.